what I think happened, it could be something like, what is it? What am I thinking of?
Can you guys hear me?
And yeah, I can hear you. It could be like, fail. Edit this part out. I failed there. Edit all that space out.
Yeah, what happened then?
Yeah, I was ignoring you. I wasn't listening. I was reading something. Anyway, edit that part. Edit that part out. But moving along, what I think happened, what could possibly be what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? An accident. Like they could have easily just bumped something and oops, wrong frequency, wrong button to transmit. They thought that they were using like an encrypted frequency and accidentally used the actual voice channel for UVB.
So are you saying UVB or not?
Yeah, I'm saying that's UVB.
Okay, so we got to vote. You reckon UVB? That's interesting. Danix, what's your opinion? UVB or not?
Yes.
You reckon it's UVB as well? That's interesting. I'm a bit either way. It's difficult to tell.
Well,
from
what I'm seeing, from the signal strength and the clarity compared to the voice messages, and they're just basically proportional in some ways, and it's like it obviously came out of the same general area.
Yeah, so it's possibly from the UVB site. It could be from another military station in that area that just happened to broadcast over at the same time. I mean, we can't be sure. The difficult bit is we can hear the buzzer all the way through. It's extremely quiet and muted in the background, but it's there. So we might have both radio signals coming through exactly the same, which is doubtful.
Which it could be two things just being transmitted from the same transmitter. Like you can have that happening, or have something going on in the background while you're transmitting something. It's really simple. Just lay over, just mix it together. It's really simple equipment, and nothing really special is needed to do it. Or just, if the live mic theory is true, which I don't necessarily think is true, they could just move the buzzer area away and talk into it, which I think would be even more unlikely, because if it was a live mic, first of all, people wouldn't want to be in there, and second of all, you wouldn't just move it away, you'd actually turn it off.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? It's almost like the assumption that the buzzer is on the live mic has come from when they probably left the live mic from the messages on, or have switched it on by mistake, so you're getting both transmissions at once, because they always turn off the buzzer for the broadcast messages. So
I have a theory for the actual circuit of it. What it is, I'll just try and explain this the best I can. It's a live mic which is connected into a transmitter, and also connected to that transmitter is some sort of splitter, which is connected to a computer, which generates the buzzing noise, potentially data, which I'll get into later, possibly, hopefully.
Yeah, we're planning to cover that on the next episode, I reckon. Yeah, so we've got the change. It's mind-boggling. I can't be sure what happened that day. Pirate broadcast, maybe. It takes a lot of power to broadcast something like that, to be so strong and dominant over the UVB signal from the same area.
I've seen pirate radio stations transmit from just south of me, and I can't pick them up. So
exactly, your average pirate radio station, even your average really good ham, is probably not going to have the wattage available to broadcast that kind of thing. And also, where would you get that kind of sound information, however you want to call it, to broadcast? I mean, it's not like anyone who's doing a pirate broadcast. You just broadcast music or playback conversation or videos off YouTube or something. You know?
Yeah, right. Even if you listen to it, it sounds like people are talking and then signing off a mic. Like if you've ever listened to something like a police radio or something, the same sounds occur. So it can easily just be like a two-way communication system. Yeah,
from my working in telephone systems that I've done, They sound like PBX tones to me, but I would guess that those kind of communication tones are quite similar in other systems like two-way radios and so on. So we can't be sure of the system they were using. It might be they've plugged their local broadcast radio that's on a completely different frequency, and they've managed to flip it over to the UVB frequency, so we've just got that instead of, say, a PBX telephone exchange, which is what it sounds like to me. So we're not looking at pirate. We're possibly looking at mistake broadcast from another military radio station in the same area. We're possibly looking at a mistake at UVB. There's no way we can be sure. What we can be sure is we can hear the buzzer all the way through, and the buzzer suddenly becomes muted, as if it's coming from the same broadcast tower. So generally, the three of us believe it was a mistake at UVB. We have asked around and got several different people to have an attempt at a translation of what was heard.
All these translations have found extremely similar things.
Yeah, in general, the translations that we found from other attempts on the internet not related to any sites we post on or chat on have come up with very similar translations. And the general gist of what we've got is the first conversation seems to be determining that something's gone broken and they can't communicate with a certain unit. And the word that's been common across this is Vulcan or volcano. And that's been translated by several different people, including the person who translated it on our forum for us. So we're looking at this as being probably reliable, but we remain suitably sceptical. However, they know something's wrong and something's broken. Whether they know they're broadcasting everything over UVB's frequency at this stage, we're not sure. And in the next couple of conversations, that carries on. It sounds like someone summons an engineer to get the transmitter or the mistake to the transmitter fixed, and there's a complaint because the engineer isn't available, and they constantly try and summon up the volcano unit, and are very frustrated that they can't actually get hold of the volcano unit. There's also an interesting mention of a unit called Pike Perch, which is quite an amusing translation of a unit name. So, what do you reckon, guys? Does the translation tally for you? Do you reckon it's accurate? Do you reckon we should rely on what we've read on the internet?
I've seen multiple translations, probably 2, 3, or 4 of the same message, and they all they're different, but they all have the same premises, which is basically that. So I'd say that they're all accurate.
Okay, we'll take it as that then. We're looking at our theory. The UVB-76 podcast reckons there was a mistake at MDZHB broadcast. They managed to plug something wrong in, and we heard all the military argument about what had gone wrong live over the air, and we loved every second of it. It knocked our socks off.
Dear Russia, fix your circuits.
It hasn't been quite so much fun after that. We've gone back to almost regularity with our daily messages, roughly in the middle of the afternoon sort of time-ish. It's been tending to drift later in the afternoon in the last few messages. In the late of October and early of November, we were looking at roughly 2 in the afternoon.
Oh, hold on. Before you continue, I'd just like to add something in from what we were thinking earlier. It seems to have a similar thing as a few times with the V2A Atención broadcast from Cuba. They've had a similar problem where it comes the transmitter of Radio Habana Cuba is the same transmitter for V2A.
Yeah.
So what they did is they actually played Radio Habana over V2A, and that could just be something similar.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I do remember reading about that briefly.